Okay, we got audio. So here's what we've got set up right now. Just this, crank this up a little bit so you can just kind of see a few things. Go ahead and crank this up. It's a beautiful weekend to get started with a lot of stuff that we've got going on here at the homestead. Wood pellets. We burn a lot of wood pellets in the spring and in the fall. The fall we probably burn from October to January, and we try to keep the oil furnace off during that time. We usually do pretty good if the temperature stays around 20 or above, 20 degrees or above. We're doing some 2x6 replacements on the back deck. We did have some issues with some of those, and we needed to do some repairs. We never got around to taking care of it this summer, so we're just going to lay those down for the winter. We do have to do some work to that entire lower deck assembly. We did replace the roof and the supports for the roof over that decking area last year, so we won't need to take that down, but we need to do some foundation repairs around there. So we're going to be taking that deck off, doing the repairs to the foundation, reinstalling the deck, and then covering the deck. Sorry about this. So that's about 20 bags of pellets. Typically takes us maybe 3 weeks or a month in the fall. We'll get more. Right here there's a bunch of old metal parts, piping and stuff that we took out of the ground, and I'm going to be taking that to the recycling center. So we'll load that up in the truck. I like to repurpose whatever we can. In 2015, we had the boat in and sailing on Christmas Eve. That was beautiful. This year it's October and we're pulling the boat. The dock is out because the water came in quite a bit. We had some heavy rains, so I needed to use the canoe to get out to the dock so that I could bring it in far enough to where we could walk out on the dock to bring in the stuff off the boat that we needed to. I'm going to be on the dock and Carol's going to be in the tractor just pulling it back a little bit, just a couple of feet. She's actually lifting up the dock.
Okay, we're good then.
We're going to separate the ramps there and pull those off. Beautiful shot there. That's our burn pile we never got around to this year because the water has been so high. Haven't had room to burn it. Bringing a few things from the garden back up to the house so we can keep them inside over the winter. Carol had a couple of issues with the tractor, so I needed to get in there and take care of that. Just bringing in the miscellaneous foam blocks and things that we use when we need to. Beautiful sunset. We wanted to bring the boat in on this day. There wasn't a lot of wind, but we had a lot of stuff to get off the boat first. We normally just put too much stuff on there. It's very comfortable to go out on the boat, hang out during the summer, during the fall, during the spring, and things just accumulate on the boat. So at the end of the season, we usually have a lot of stuff that we need to take off. I hate to have a lot of weight on it when we're pulling it and trailering it home. So we try to get as much off as possible. Carol is the queen of organization. I'm the king of disorganization, and she'll tell you that. She said she was very good at Tetris when she was a kid. And that's probably where she gets her skills. We had just about a truck full of materials to bring up to the house from the beach. This is going to be our first planting of garlic. We use garlic in a lot of stuff, so the fact that you can put it in the fall, let it grow all winter, and then harvest it in midsummer or spring is pretty neat. We haven't done it before. We're going to find out how that turns out. So we probably got 40 plants. She probably put 10 in each row, maybe more, 4 rows. So about 40 plants of garlic. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of garlic, or haven't been in the past, but once we plant it ourselves and we have fresh garlic that we can pull out of the garden whenever we want, I'm sure that's going to have a big impact on how much we eat. Here, Carol is using an app called Picture This to determine what kind of a weed that is. We end up giving away probably about 50 to 60%, maybe more, of the stuff that we grow. We just like to get out there, be outside and growing stuff. So neighbors and friends. If we could depend on a good solid supply and we knew that we would have lots of stuff every year that we couldn't or that we can't consume and that we can either give to others or even sell to restaurants, that would be an interesting thing. I said, Carol, we could have got the tiller out there and done that in half the time. And she said, Don, I really like doing it by hand. She did a great job on that. Covered it with about a foot of leaves, a little bit of topsoil, and that should weather well. More recyclables. That wire fence was pretty heavy, bulky, very difficult to carry. So having the tractor, setting it down in the driveway, folding it a little bit, and then smashing it flat with a bucket worked perfect. I was able to pick it up, slide it in the back of the truck, perfect. I had a pretty good haul to take down to the recyclers. Quite a bit of pipe, miscellaneous metal, old fence posts, bent. If they were relatively straight at all, I'd cut the bottom off and keep them. I suppose I could take it to a scrapyard and get a few dollars for it, but for me it's just getting it away and getting it someplace where, you know, it will be reused, recycled. Like to reuse lumber. These are 4x4s and 1x6s that we had for a fence. And I'm just cutting the nails off because these nails are galvanized and they really hang on, and you basically destroy the wood getting the nail out. So I'm just going to be cutting those nails off, putting the nails in a little bucket there, and saving the wood. We can use it for the fence when we put it back up. An endless number of chores that this tractor is just phenomenal at. Endless. I heard people tell me, you'll find so many uses for this thing, it'll drive you crazy. You won't know how you lived without it. And that is so very true. I should have gotten this thing 10 years ago or 15 years ago, instead of waiting till now and piling all of those things that I might need to do with it into a few short years. I looked at very few tractors Ended up with Kubota. I paid 20% more, maybe. I didn't want to take a risk. A big investment, something that I really needed. And that's why I went with Kubota. An endless amount of brush. It never stops. Taking the bucket off there, putting on the forks. A little tough to get into. This is a very narrow area between the garden and the trees to the left there. So I'm trying to pick up as much as the stuff around there so I can get past the garden with things like the truck or the trailer or things like that. So keeping this clean is imperative. You can see the two yellow lights at the top on the cab. I have the air conditioning on and internal air circulation in case there's any dust. I don't think it's cool enough at this time to have heat on. I might have heat on, I can't quite see that, but it's a very comfortable cab with respect to the air and the environment there. You know, before I made the decision on the Kubota, I asked a neighbor who runs a farm whether I should get a cab. He said, "Don, I wouldn't be without one." Good choice, very good choice. I'm finding that the grapple is nice, but I can do pretty good without the grapple if I use the forks right. And you get used to the forks and how they manage materials, so that can work out pretty well for you. Forks are awesome. I would not think that forks would be that valuable, but they absolutely are. Construction materials for roofing, for wood sheds. Yep, we're getting this all cleaned out, so I've got a great way to get down to that area of the yard. Plenty of room there now. When Carol's mom was with us, she used to love to go out in that paddle boat, paddle around the lake. Self-powered. A stairway, a dock stairway that blew in one year, ended up on our shore, and no one claimed it. We don't quite know what to do with it. We could use the parts for dock ramps. We may do that. Pallets are nice for maintaining, things off the ground. Relatively short life on the East Coast here. Probably a season or two, and then they just turn to mush. They're not much good after that, unless you keep them dry above ground, not on the ground. So it's almost like you need to have a 4x4 or something else to set the pallet on to keep it off the ground and out of the moisture. Otherwise, it won't last very long at all. Absolutely gorgeous morning. Ice covering the boat, just gorgeous. Was no wind when we started, beautiful, perfect. The moon in the upper right, the fog on the lake, just awesome. Probably 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:38. Most all the boats are out. I think there's a single sailboat there and a pontoon or two. First attempt, the wind picks up. Every time we come at the dock, the wind blows us away. It's just a difficult time, but we'll get it. Yep, that wind comes out the back and just pushes us away, pushes the tail of the boat away. See the steam coming off the water. Got it. And the camera falls. We stopped here for a couple minutes just so I could change the oil in the transom of the motor on the back of the boat. And we towed it home, and here we are. Gonna move that boat into place where we want to keep it for the winter with that device. Got a ball hitch on the front. Three-way, so I can use all three sizes of balls to move around the different boats on the property. We wanted to get that as close to the shed as we could to kind of help protect it from the wind, the wood shed there. You can see the wood in the IBC totes, firewood there on the right. Got 23 of those this year. And we have the wood shed about 3/4 full of wood. You can see that boat, after I let it down, it slid back about 2 feet. I didn't chock the wheels first. So Carol thought we could stop that boat from moving by pushing against it, and that isn't going to happen. So luckily it hit a low spot, stopped. We use those to build an area on the back of the boat that we put tarps over, and it just allows the snow to fall off the back of the boat instead of onto the deck. That's a catamaran. 15-foot Hobie cat. We sell in the summer, and we keep the sail on the inside of the pontoon in the winter. This kitty just came down and told Carol she wanted to be a part of the family in the driveway. Yep, I want to be a part of the family. And now she is. Rambunctious. So we build an A-frame, just put it together, use it year after year. Set it on top of the cabin and mount the A-frame to the outside, throw a tarp over it. Keep it tight with bungees, and that keeps the heavy snow off of the deck of the boat during the winter. Doesn't seal the boat entirely, but it keeps the damaging weight of the snow off of the inside of the cockpit there. "72-inch king cutter," just an excellent mower for doing what we do. You know, we have not quite landscape quality grass. We just have basic yards, and that does a phenomenal job of getting things done very quickly. I paid $450. I put $1,100 into it, so I've got about $16 or so $100 into it. A new one's $24. A new king cutter. I think if you get a land pride, it's around 32 or 35, maybe more now. I'm very lucky. I was able to pick up a lot of implements. I've got a back plow, 3-point plow, the grapple, a man lift to do work, the buckets, the forks, and I got those all before this incredible inflation spike was still hit, including the tractor, so I'm extremely lucky. We have a lot of hilly area. You'll see as the cab tilts back and forth how much of an angle that tractor is at from time to time. It's got some pretty good angles that I hit. You'll see one coming up here when I do next to the road. Even here. Yeah, that's pretty. I'll hang on to the side. You'll see on the right-hand side that I hang on pretty good when I hit some steep areas. Try to pull my weight to the upside. Right here, you'll see a really good angle. Right here. That is clenching. Yeah. It doesn't groom the lawn as nicely as a smaller Cub Cadet type mower, but it does a great job in 1/5 the time. For those of you not on the East Coast or in the East, For those of you in the Southwest and the West, it's probably just amazing seeing how much green is here. But this green is 24/7, 9 months out of the year, and it just never goes away. It's amazing. I grew up out west, and I've seen the other side of what life is like without the kind of humidity and moisture that we get on the East Coast. Totally different, just a different way of life. Everything is green all the time. Makes for some beautiful summers. Heading down the road about 1 mile to another property where we're going to do some mowing there too. And this is almost like a movie. The way that, because it's dark, the way the screen moves on those windows, it just looks like a movie happening in front of you. I'm going to be doing a video shortly here on, did I go too big with the Kubota L3560 Grand? For something like this, probably is too big, but for most everything else, it's just about right. Takes about an hour and maybe an hour and 5, maybe an hour and 10 minutes to mow this property. With the tractor, with the Cub Cadet, it's probably a 2.5 to 3 hour job, maybe more, maybe 4. We were pushing daylight to get that boat down to the dock, and now we're pressing nightfall to get this lawn mowed. So we stretched this weekend as far as we could to get stuff done. Mowing around the vineyard. I have a small vineyard with about 20 Cabernet, Merlot, Chardonnay. Yes, so when you see me put the loader up, it's because I'm a little tight for quarters there. So you'll see me put that loader up so I have room to get around some obstacles. Looks like we're done. Short ride home. About 17 miles an hour. Pretty consistent. And that's a wrap for this weekend. Listen, Carol and I love to have you guys with us, so we'll come up with more stuff.